maybe with some slight alterations, but overall the melody structure remains relatively the same. So again, you're not having some huge protracted long chorus because your audience won't remember a melody that meanders for 8 bars. What you want to do is subdivide that 8 bars into a group of 4 and a group of 4, and that will allow your hook to stick. Let me move on to something else that I believe that will be helpful for you as a songwriter. The name of your song. I believe that as you get ready to promote your song to the world and share your song with the world, the name of your song is everything. Here's a very simple piece of advice that I have for you. I recommend giving your song title a 1-word song title. A 1-word song title. And I'm kind of pulling what I'm telling you from the world of marketing. I worked in marketing for a number of years, over a decade, and I did it within the context of music, by the way. In marketing, being brief or brevity is genius. So in other words, if you're driving past, let's say a billboard on a highway, if there's like a whole novel on that billboard, just words, no one's going to read that or remember that billboard. It's the billboard that maybe will have just 1 word, maybe 2 words, maybe 3 words. Those are effective billboards. Now, if you think about it, the billboards, it's usually coupled with some type of imagery. Well, actually, the same thing is applicable to your music. Let's say you release some album art or your single art, the artwork for your single along with a 1-word title. That is very, very powerful as opposed to having 15 words in your song title. But what's the rationale behind this? Well, when you use 1 to maybe 3 words for your song title, number one, it creates interest. It's more interesting. It creates a bit of mystery. People will want to know, well, what does that 1 word mean? What is the song all about? And hopefully that 1 word will give people an indication as to what the song is, but it's not enough, obviously, to tell the whole story, right? So that 1 word or maybe 3 words, it draws people in. It gives you just enough to draw you in to say, hey, you know what? Let me check out this track. Next thing, when you use 1-word titles, or hopefully maybe no more than 3 words for your title, here's a simple thing, and this goes back to the marketing side of things. Your song can be found easier online. Let's say you drop a phenomenal song. It's available on iTunes. It's available on Google Play or whatever platform. And you're telling people, hey, check out my album. It's available everywhere. Take a listen. And let's say someone were to ask you, hey, so how do I find your material? What's the name of your song? And you're like, oh, the title of the song? It's Jim's Glorious Majestic Unicorn Ride Across 7 Galaxies. That just makes no sense, right? It just sounds stupid. But people do that because they try to explain the entire concept of the song with all the words in the song title. Don't do this. Use a simple naming convention. I said this earlier. I'll challenge you again on this. I want you to go out and look at some of your top artists out there. Just hop on to iTunes or whatever music platform you use. Hop on Spotify, Pandora, Tidal, whatever. Take a look at the artists out there. Just look at song titles. I would like to take a friendly wager with you that the vast majority of song titles out there, most likely they're less than 3 words. Check it out. Just again, prove what I'm saying. Validate what I'm saying or disprove what I'm saying. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I believe that I'm actually on to something here. And what that does, and here's the final thing, when you go with this type of naming convention, as I'm calling it, you start to blend in with these other big time artists out there. We had our little quiz earlier. Yeah, we may not necessarily be at the level of these songwriters, but in terms of appearance, wouldn't it be great if how you presented your music is no different than how a globally known artist or songwriter would present their music? There's a reason why they do what they do. And I've said this many, many times before in our times together. If there's a formula out there, why not follow it? It makes it a lot easier for you to kind of ride on some of that success when you can use methods and techniques that have been proven. And as we bring this main topic to a close today, I want to give you one more major thing to think about with respect to songwriting. This is, in my opinion, the best piece of advice I have given. This piece of advice is actually found in the book that I wrote, JingleMoney. It is a piece of advice that I believe that will make you better as a songwriter, whether you're listening now as this podcast is being released, or if you listen to this advice 10 years from now. I mean this. Here it is. I want you as a songwriter to become a student of nursery rhymes. Yep, and I'm being serious. I know I make jokes a lot, but I'm being super, super serious. Be a student of nursery rhymes. Earlier I mentioned having a hook in your song, and I mentioned having a hook that has, let's say, 8 bars, and you should have some type of repetition within that hook. If you look at the structure of your typical nursery rhyme, there are some brilliant things that you'll find inside of a nursery rhyme when it comes to melody structure, when it comes to word use, when it comes to rhythmic patterns. I am telling you that there is a gold mine of information inside your average nursery rhyme. And the great thing about nursery rhymes, they're incredibly simple. And that kind of goes back to what I mentioned earlier about your hook. You should not have this huge 8-bar expose of complicated melodies. Yeah, maybe you can do that if you're doing something like jazz, or maybe you can do that if you're getting into orchestral music. But if you're talking about pop music, pop country, pop rock, hip hop, EDM, electric, whatever, you need to have a melody structure that is memorable. Now, am I saying that your end product, your song, should sound like a nursery rhyme? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you should take the principles of a nursery rhyme, how words have repetition, how the melody structure moves along the music staff, the use of rhythm. And there's a whole bunch of other things that I can't get into now. But again, just start to look at the concept behind nursery rhymes. There's a reason. And here's my deep thought for you today. Hopefully you'll catch what I'm saying here. There's a reason why certain nursery rhymes have been around for many, 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 many years. If I say things like, let's say, Baa Baa Black Sheep or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, they've been around because the melodies literally stand the test of time. And if you can so happen tap into the science behind how a melody can last forever, you become a different type of songwriter. Your music goes beyond just today. Think about this. Have you heard about those artists or songwriters where their song is reused and reused, remade? People are doing covers of that song many times over. There's a reason for that. Those people are brilliant songwriters. Think about what I'm saying. Imagine if your song, let's say, came out this year, but 3 years from now, the melody structure, the lyrical content, the overall layout of the song was so powerful that 3 years from now, or maybe 4 years from now, another artist says, hey, yo, I want to remake your song. That is my jam. They remake it. 6 years from that point, they remake it. I can go on forever, but that happens. And I can name a whole bunch of songs for you. I'm not going to do it right now. But the point being is that a song that can stand the test of time is a truly good song. Those songs, I guarantee you, if you go back today, all the way back to the, wherever you want to go, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, those songs that are still around today, look out for that melody structure. I'm sure of the fact that they have stood the test of time because of their construction, the repetition, no selection. All right, so I'm going to stop there for today because I think we've covered enough here. We covered 3 points: length of your song, how to name your song, of course, and we talked about studying nursery rhymes. I know it seems like a silly thing to do for songwriting, but man, I am telling you, sometimes simple solutions are the solutions that work the best. All right, enough of the preachiness, all right? Here's my tip for today, and I talked about it at the top of the show. in just a few weeks here, or a couple of weeks, I'm hoping, I'm going to have some guests on who are from the music industry, and they've done stuff with huge names out there. They're widely recognized in the industry all over. I'm telling you, they've worked with some of the best and the biggest names everywhere in music. They're going to be on the show. They specialize in matters related to touring, live performances, management, being on the road, making money as a musician, being self-employed as a musician. These guys are phenomenal. If you want to get out there and live that life, be on tour, make money, show up at different venues, pack out different venues, market your shows as you're going to venues, these guys are the ones that you can get your questions to. They'll answer it for free. Their information will be made available to you, and you can get your specific question answered. I am telling you, this is your moment. It's super simple. Send me an email. Send an email with your question, and send that email to ask@successwithmusic.com. ask@successwithmusic.com. So you still have a bit of time here, maybe about a week or so. So hopefully you mark the date when this episode came out. But about a week from the date of this, the airing of this episode, that's all you have. So get your questions in that time, and I'll make sure I'll get your questions on the air. All right. So that is your tip for today. Get insider information that you cannot get anywhere. A lot of us out there, we don't have just buddies in the music industry. We can just ask questions. This is a great moment. Imagine that. Think about an industry, a person that's connected in the music industry. They know people. They've worked with lawyers. They work with huge bands, record labels, that type of thing. And you can simply come in and ask a question. All right. I'm a bit excited about this, but I was always told that, hey, when you have a moment, when you have an opportunity to get something from someone in the industry or get insight, take advantage of it, especially when it's as simple as sending an email. You make that choice, but I'm going to be asking questions because I want to learn too. Hey, I've been around the music industry for a while, but these guys have been at a different level of it, and I want to find out some stuff for myself. So yeah, get your questions in here to ask@successwithmusic.com. In the meantime, please share this podcast with your music-loving, performing, creating people out there. We want to help our community get better, living that music life. All right, so do me a favor, share the program, check me next week, send that email, and while you're at it, send me a housewarming gift, will ya? I like cookies.
I know there's gotta be a better way for me in this life. That is my dream.